ask that everyone here take a second to look to the person next to them. Odds are that person here is a senior in this classroom. And as a senior, we all have a major decision to make that could effectively change our entire life. After high school, which we all know is coming to an end, we're either going to go to the college world, perhaps you're going straight to the workforce, or some of us into the military. Personally, I'm going into college. Having been raised in a family in which all of my family went and graduated from IU, you could say I'd be a Hoosier for life. As I went through the college application process, I started to realize just how bad of a bias my family had given me. For years, I had been told that IU was the one and only, the alpha and the omega, and so I didn't believe in any other college. I couldn't think of Purdue. I exiled any other choice that wasn't IU. Unfortunately, my family had performed Inception, subconsciously placing the idea that IU was the only place I could ever go, and my only belief. I wasn't thinking independently. I wasn't thinking as Tyler Staley. I was living a life that others had told me to. This scared me in the fact that how profound an impact our peers, our family, and our social life had on our own thoughts, that we weren't being ourselves. Eventually, I found independently that I would go to the University of Chicago because it was what I wanted, not anything else. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink. Like a horse, we too are often led to water, as I was to IU, but only you can tell whether you drink. That's it.
This summer I went to the Philmont Scout Ranch, which is a nature reservation in northern New Mexico. It was there that I learned that fewer is better. I was in a crew with a bunch of great guys. We all got along extremely well together, and the entire trip was a blast. Every morning during our early hikes, we would get to our destinations really early. It just allowed us to relax in the shade and enjoy some conversations and just play cards and just have a great time. But then one day, we decided to join up with another crew, just to add diversity and just see some fresh faces and have some different conversations. But this turned out to be one of our worst decisions. When we joined up with the other crew, it turned out that was our longest day. Because of our massive size, there was so much miscommunication, and the leaders didn't agree with each other, and the people with the maps they conflicted and they contradicted each other, and we ended up coming in very, very late. Because we were so late, the heat was unbearable. The sun was beating down on our backs, our throats were parched, we were low on water, and the last mile was uphill, which made it even worse. Because of all this, and this experience, I learned that fewer is better. Bigger may seem better, and it may seem like a bigger group would be more enjoyable or more fun, but in reality, a fewer group is smaller and more effective, and you can get things done much more quickly. So fewer is better.
There really is no other place like home. There's no place to be yourself. Home is where you're the most comfortable. Home is where the heart is. There's no place like home. At home, we have cookouts, family gatherings, Bible studies, birthday parties, and the list goes on. This past weekend, my family and I went to Missouri for a family reunion, and I felt that I was at home, like at peace with me and my family, just the thought of being with everyone and the gathering of everyone being together. The list could go on and on. Now, I'm sure we all have places that we call our second home. This is because it reminds us of our actual residence. The feeling of being welcomed and loved by someone other than your actual intermediate family is just one of the greatest feelings in the world. It gives you assurance that someone will always be there for you. That's a wonderful feeling. We all know that blood is thicker than water. With your family around you, you're never alone. So no matter how far you go in life, no matter how much others care for you or welcome you into their home, there's really no actual place like home.
I could feel my stomach start to tighten up as I clenched my fists. The crowd was as silent as the wind, waiting for the gun to go off. It was my first sectional race ever, and I was more nervous than ever. Negative thoughts began to race through my head. Can I do this? What if I fail? What if I let my team down? Adrenaline began pumping through my veins, and the starter yelled, "On your mark." I stepped up with my left foot and dug my spikes into the mud. He shot the gun, and nerves flooded through my body like water in a hose. I could smell the foggy smoke after the gun, and the crowd was cheering loudly. This was it. This was my chance. I I had to keep a positive attitude to get through this mud bath of a race. It's easier to say you have a positive mindset than to actually do it. My legs went lactic within the first 100 meters of the race. All I could think about was running with shin splints and a pulled hamstring. I let my injuries get the best of me and my negative thoughts. Before I knew it, the race was almost over. It was too late. I was 1 second off my best time. 1 second. My goal was to beat my best time by 1 second. I learned that I always have more left at the end, more than I'll ever know, that I can always try harder next time. But everyone messes up sometimes, so now I truly understand the quote that it's easier said than done.
Boys will be boys. Whenever I hear this term, only one story will ever come to mind. It was when I was a freshman in high school. I was immature, and me and my brother always fought. Always. Whenever we fought, it sometimes got physical, sometimes just name calling. One day, it got physical. I had actually just gotten my class ring, and I was wearing it all the time. Sometimes even forgot that it was on my finger. One day, a fight got physical. I ended up punching him, hit him with my ring. It ended up hitting him in the forehead. He had an imprint on his forehead. It said Westfield High School on it. So after that fight, I learned that fighting is not the way to solve problems. In fact, it is the wrongest way to solve problems. So now, all that we do is name call. So, boys will always be boys.
Mortar rounds, gunshots, commands, and orders. Pool parties, friends, school bells, and comfort. These two opposing sets of words are occurring on completely different sides of the world. American soldiers are voluntarily living in these war circumstances while we get to live in the safety of our homes. The only thing that connects these two worlds is the families of the soldiers overseas. These separated families are living unable to communicate on a regular basis and unaware of what exactly is happening in the lives of the other. My family is one of these families. With my brother Jonathan spending many months touring in Africa and Afghanistan, the only presents we had of him were phone calls and photographs. A picture has never meant so much to me and my family. It was the only tangible thing we had to represent him for the next 9 months. We keep flags and awards around the house still to remind us of the service of my brother and all the American troops that are still fighting today. When words are unable to be heard, a picture is the best substitute. A picture is a memory bank. One look can inspire the recollection of 1,000 memories that could otherwise not be explained by the use of just 1,000 words. And for this reason, I can confidently say that a picture is worth more than 1,000 words.
In the Netherlands, 16 million own 18 million bikes. Here in Indiana, you may have a bike that sits in your garage for recreational use only. In the Netherlands, 59% of the population ride their bikes on a daily basis to places such as the grocery, work, and school. I lived in the Netherlands when I was 7 years old. My family there enjoyed acting as the Dutch did. My mom would ride her bike to the grocery, my sister would ride her bike to swim practice, and I would ride my bike to school. The first weekend my family was in the Netherlands, we decided to rent bikes in a nearby park. This park was not any ordinary park, it was huge. They had bike lanes for only bikers. As we were biking, my legs felt very tired. We had been biking for over 10 miles and I had no idea where we were. We decided to stop for a lunch break. I asked my dad where we were on the map and he said we were very close to where we parked the car. As a 7-year-old, I knew we were not. I decided to ask the waitress where we were. She pointed to a spot on the map that was way across the park. My dad's face went blank. We were lost. We had to bike all the way around the park to get back. I asked my dad to pick up the car and bring it back to us, but he said no because we're in a foreign country and I was only 7. When we got back, my legs were once again really, really tired. So, in the end, we had biked 17 miles, and my family learned in Rome, do When in Rome, do what Romans do. Only the next time, we would do it right. Living in a foreign country, my family did a lot of things that the Dutch did. Living, biking, and getting lost in the Netherlands will be an experience I will never forget.
Alright, has everybody here used a towel when they've gotten out of the shower at home before? Alright, most of us. How about when you get out of the shower at a hotel? Okay, so I'm going to say that's most of us. So we all know the difference. When you get out of the shower at home and you dry off, you don't even think about it, and before you know it, it's wrapped around your waist and you're brushing your teeth. But when you get out of the shower at a hotel, it's a little bit different. You get out, and there's way too many, and they're all folded up. You don't know which one to pick. The ones you do get is way too big or it's way too small. It's kind of scratchy and it smells kind of musky, and you keep it off your face because you don't know where it's been. And then when you're done, you throw it into the sink and try to forget about it. We've all done it. Now, I've had the privilege of using towels in Japan, Estonia, Finland, Scotland, London, a couple different states, including Ohio, believe it or not. And I can tell you from experience that every time I use a towel at a hotel, it's just as awkward. Now, you might think I'm just ragging on hotels, but what I'm really trying to get across is that this isn't the only part of vacation or trips that I can think of that are awkward, and I know there's plenty that each of you can think of. Namely, I always wonder why I thought it was a good idea to leave my dog at a shelter while we left, or a boarding thing, whatever you want to call them, where my Reese Puffs are for breakfast that I've had for 4.5 years, and then why I only brought one pair of shoes. Now, I believe that these trivialities are there to remind us, while we're trying to get away from home and to escape our daily lives, to be thankful for what we really do have at home. And it's these minor points that force us to face the fact that no matter where we try and look for it, we'll never find a place like home.
Earlier this summer, my mom asked me to bake an apple pie for my dad to celebrate his birthday. So like any good older sister, I told my little sister that my mom had asked her to do it. And my sister can't even bake a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but I thought it'd be fine. I gave her the recipe and went upstairs thinking that she would take care of it. Well, when I woke up, the smell of something burning overcame me. So I ran downstairs and I saw that smoke everywhere. So I tried to shake the grogginess from my head. And an acrid smell and taste was filling my nose and my throat. And my sister was nowhere in sight. The smoke detectors were wailing all throughout the house. So thinking that the house was on fire, I frantically ran through the house trying to find it and then put it out. Then I noticed that the smoke was coming from the oven. So I pulled it open and inky black smoke started coming out and it filled my lungs and I immediately started coughing and choking. The smoke was pouring out of the oven and I pulled the pan out and I noticed it was the apple pie. It was smoky and black, charred mess. If I had just baked the pie myself, my sister wouldn't have almost burned our house down and my dad would have gotten his birthday apple pie. Everyone feels like slacking off and shirking their responsibilities at some point, and it's really tempting to just hand off your duties to siblings, your parents, your friends, but if you want something done right, it's best to just do it yourself.